Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. Today we are talking about batching your task. So, if this is your very first time joining me, then I would, of course, love for you to put in the chat box, say hi to everyone, and also add where you are joining me from. I love to be able to go back and look at the chat box, look at the comments, and just kind of see where all of you are joining me from. Even if you're watching the replay, I love to just be able to see that. So put it in the comments below. Let me know where you're joining me from. Also, if this is your very first time joining, then know that we talk. I do a slight presentation. We have class for about the first 30 minutes. And then at the end, I do take questions. So put a hashtag Q if you want to answer any or ask any questions so that I am able to answer them at the end of the session. I do like to go through all of the material before I answer any questions, just so if there are people watching the replay, they are able to get all of the information, and then we will get into all of the questions at the end. So thank you again so much for joining me. Thank you. I see that some of you are from Maryland, Washington, Canada, Buenos Aires. How wonderful. Thank you so much. Marrero, that's right around my neck of the woods in Louisiana. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and jump into today's session. Today we are talking about why you should batch your task. We're going to be talking about why you should batch your task. And I really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like a lot of people confuse time batching or task batching with time blocking. You know, you will kind of hear both of them kind of tossed around. And we're going to get into why you should batch, what's the difference between the two, and we're also going to talk about the different groups of tasks that you can actually batch. I'm going to share with you the tasks that I batch and kind of the strategy that I use to help me get things done throughout the course of my day. So that is what we are going to be talking about today. Thank you all so much for adding in the chat box where you're joining me from. Welcome to today's session. If this is your very first time, you've never been on one of my lives before, hi, my name is Alaina, and I am a productivity and budgeting coach. I love planners. I love talking about my planners. I always talk about them and share them on YouTube. I go live on YouTube every single Monday, unless it's some kind of holiday. I do go live every single Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time. I also post videos every single Friday. So if you wanted to see my next video that's coming out, then make sure that you join me on Fridays. Sometimes I post on Tuesdays as well, but you will definitely have another video on Friday. I have a monthly membership that I do. It's called the Organize You. And within there, we do weekly classes. Those classes are usually on Thursday. I also just started a private podcast for my monthly membership members. We have all of my planner downloads. So all of the planners that I share on my YouTube channel, they get access. They're able to print them within the membership site, and they can add them all to their planner as well. And we also have a monthly book club. We're actually doing book club this particular Thursday, and we are talking about The Joy of Less, which is a minimalism book that I thoroughly enjoyed. It actually helped me to condense down my planners from 8 to 4. So I'm really loving that book. So we're going to talk about that book on this particular Thursday as well. So if you're interested in the monthly membership, make sure that you check out the very first comment on the chat. I did leave a link to the membership site, so you can head over there. You can find out more about it. And if you have any questions, of course, you can email me at alaina@theorganizedmoney.com. I am pretty good at answering my emails as quickly as I possibly can. Usually it takes me 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into today's session. We're going to start off with the very first question, which most people ask, is what is task batching? What is it? How can you possibly use it? Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that y'all can see it. Task batching is a productivity strategy that involves grouping similar tasks together to complete them all at once. So it's basically looking at your to-do list and looking at all of the similar things that you have on that to-do list and combining them, putting them in a group together. So that is what it is. Let's talk about what it possibly can do for you. And it helps you organize the tasks that you need to complete in an effective way. So instead of jumping from task to task, it helps you to be a little bit more effective, which actually saves you a bunch of time in the process. So, why should you do this? Why are we even talking about this today? Well, number one, it reduces time. Like we said, if you are combining like tasks together, then you probably have all of the things that you need in one area because these are like things that you're doing at the same time. So, for instance, I like to do my filming in batches, meaning that I will film multiple videos. Usually, I'm filming 3 videos at one time. Why do I do this? Because I don't have to set up my lights and my camera and all of the different settings that I need to do for my phone and have it all together every single time that I'm setting up. If I set it up one time and I film 3 videos in a row, that saves me time with the setup and the breakdown. So it reduces the amount of time that it would take me to film each video that I am filming if I do 3 in one session. So that is one reason why you will want to do it, because it helps you reduce time. It helps you to reduce time. The second reason is it promotes deep work and focus. If you've ever read this book by Cal Newport, one of my favorites, we did talk about this one in the Organize You. It was a part of the book club. But deep work is a state of distraction-free concentration when your brain works up to its maximum potential. So when you are focused and you are in a state of deep work, you're able to really get more done because you're more focused on a particular task that you're working on. So it helps you to improve your overall focus. It keeps you on that one task, and it allows you to get more things done because you are completely focused, which means you're zoned in, you're not easily distracted during this time. The third thing that it does is it decreases burnout. So I've been talking on Instagram. If you have not been following me on Instagram, you definitely should be. But on Instagram, I did a couple of reels on burnout and what burnout is, the difference between burnout and just being stressed, how to deal with burnout. We talked about this over on Instagram. And one thing that can cause burnout is when you are keep jumping from one task to the other. Context switching is what they call it. But it interrupts your focus and it can cause you to feel a little bit more anxious, a little bit more frustrated, and it really can help you lead, or it leads you to burnout. So this is another reason why you really want to think about possibly batching your tasks, putting them together. And burnout is the state of complete exhaustion. So if you don't know the difference between being burned out or just being stressed, when you're stressed, you may be anxious, you may be frustrated, the smallest things may annoy you. All of that may be the case. But when you rest, let's say you take a nap, let's say you go on vacation and you come back, you usually feel better. You feel more energized. You feel like, okay, I'm better and I can take on my day again. But when you are burned out, there is no amount of rest that really can help. You could go on vacation and be off for 3 or 4 days and still feel tired when you get back. And if you still feel tired when you get back, even though you went on a 3 day or a week vacation, then that means that you are possibly burned out. And that's a deeper state of exhaustion than just taking a nap and feeling replenished and feeling like you can take on your day again. So you really need to know the difference between the two. But if you are burned out, one thing that can cause that burnout is context switching. It's when you jump from task to task and you feel completely overwhelmed because you're just trying to do so many different things and you're not focused on one particular thing. You just keep jumping from task to task. So that's the third reason why you may want to consider batching your tasks. So let's quickly talk about what's the difference between the two. So we talked about what is task batching. Now, what's the difference between time blocking and task batching? Well, time blocking is blocking off a specific amount of time for tasks, right? This is something that I show and I share in my planner all the time. I'm always sharing how I block off 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for different things, or 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. to do something else. So that is time blocking, when you're blocking off a specific amount of time. But task batching takes it up a notch. It still uses the concept of time blocking, where you're blocking off a specific amount of time, but it also groups tasks that are similar in nature for that particular time period. So time blocking would be, let me block off my time from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and I'm just going to work on business items, right? I'm just going to be focused in on my business items, which is great, but it also, task batching takes it to the next level where you say, okay, not only am I working on business items, but from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., I am only working on email. Because business could be email, it could be orders. For me, it could be email, orders, it could be meeting with clients, it could be a bunch of different things. But what task batching does is goes a little bit deeper and says, no, I'm working on this particular topic, this one complete thing that I need to complete, and I'm only going to work on this for a particular amount of time. So it's one step further than just time blocking. Now, I love to do both. I really, really do love to do both, where I feel like you can take your productivity to the next level if you're able to combine these two, and not only time block where you're blocking off time, but really also batch your task. Also batch your task where you're thinking about, okay, what are the similar items that I have on my to-do list, and how can I combine those similar things along with blocking off the time so that my day flows a little bit better. It will help you flow a little bit better, and it will ease that anxiety that sometimes you get if you're jumping from one thing to the other to one thing to the other, right? So this overall helps us with complete flow of our day. So now that we know what it is, how do you figure out what you are batching? How do you know what to batch? So I'm going to share with you my particular batched items and what I do. Of course, just because I batch these things does not mean that you need to batch them. It doesn't mean that it's going to be the exact same. I just wanted to share with you my particular topics so that you are able to kind of get an idea of how you could possibly batch these things, and then it will help you to come up with your own. So mine are grouped into categories. And so it's three different sections under each category that I have. So my first batch set of items are under my business tasks. So my first one is business administration. So this is my emails, my bookkeeping, my orders, all of the admin things that I need to do, the things behind my business, like answering emails from other people, or possibly writing emails that I am going to send out to everyone, or bookkeeping, all the things that need to happen behind the scenes of my business. That is a particular batch. So I will batch a specific amount of time where I'm going to work on all of these admin things, because all of these admin things mainly require me to sit behind my desk and be at my computer and just kind of typing away, right? So that's one particular batch I have. The second batch is my social media. So this is when I am batching reels and I'm batching YouTube videos and YouTube shorts and figuring out all of the social media posts that I'm doing. That's going to be a second batch that I'm going to be doing. The third one is meetings. So, meetings is my client interviews and my interviews that I need to do for myself. Like, let's say I'm on a podcast interview, or I need to meet with another YouTube. We're doing a collab or something like that. So that would be a third type of batch. So you have my admin task, you have my social media, and you have meetings all together. But these are three different batching categories under my business that I would consider a batch topic. The second group of batches that I have are under my home. So this is where my cleaning and my projects batch lives. And this is where I'm cleaning different things in my house, or we're doing some type of organizational project. That is a particular batch where I will batch off time to dedicate to that specific thing. The fifth one is family, marriage, and self. So this is when I schedule like family days and date nights and things that I'm going to do for myself. Maybe I'm going to the spa, I'm going to get my nails done, but it's a specific batch of time where I'm blocking off time, where I'm doing stuff for family related items. We will also batch off like doctor's appointments. So I try and do all of my doctor's appointments and dentist appointments and eye doctor and all of that in one particular month of the year. So I'm trying to get everybody out of the way and in a particular month. And so, I'm batching all of that during one particular time. Same thing for date night, same thing for family time. We batch off different times throughout the weeks where this is scheduled time just for that. The sixth thing is home administration. So my budgeting things that I need to do, filing taxes, or just looking at our files, our life insurance, our investment portfolios, net worth, all of that is under the home admin category. So even with home admin, I'm still thinking about what's the time frame that I'm going to be working on these particular things. And I am blocking off time and batching all of these things together. So coming up with this grand list of the things that you need to complete, and then thinking about the time frame when those things are going to be completed. And then the next category that I have is my personal development or faith category. So this, of course, is not listed for everyone, but this is a batch for me because it is a very high priority. A lot of this we do on a consistent basis. So the seventh one is my personal development. This is where I'm completing my Bible studies and doing my readings. I'm reading different books. It may be a business book. It may be a faith-related book. It might be a book just for fun, sci-fi or thriller. It could be any type of book that I'm piqued my interest and I just want to read. But I consider that under my personal development category because I love to learn and I want to consistently learn every day. That is a personal goal of mine. The eighth category is church. And this is because my husband and I just opened up a church. So being that we are lead pastors now of a church, we do have to block off time for counseling, and we're blocking off time to just connect with the members of the church and still be able to make sure we're setting up things and doing everything that we need to do there. We have church meetings. So that is another batch category that I have. And then I also have one for community because my husband and I do different things within the community. So we will, we go to schools, we go to a lot of schools and we will feed the teachers. We actually just did that today, where earlier today we went and we fed the teachers for lunch and we sponsored their coffee, and we will do coffee at PJs on us. It's just different things like that we do within the community, but because they are community related events, I have to block off that time. I have to batch that time. So this is another, like I said, these are extremely personal to me, but like I said, You can come up with your own. You really need to sit down and think about, all right, what are the things that mainly take up a lot of my time? Like, if I think about it, these are the categories that take up a lot of my time. It's either going to be business stuff where I am trying to figure out a lot of things with my business, it's going to be home stuff, and it's going to be personal development, faith, church related stuff. Now, does that mean that I don't do anything else outside of these categories? It doesn't mean that, because I do spend time with my friends, even though it's not a major specific batch. I do have times where I'm spending time with my friends. I do have times where I might be doing other things, but these are the biggest time things that I do throughout my day, right? So these are the things that are consistently, like, it's not anything that I'm just going to have to squeeze in here and there. These things are consistently coming up throughout my life. So they are batches. And that's what I want you to think about. Don't think about every little thing that you have to do. Think about the areas that are consistently coming up. Like, you're consistently cleaning your house. That is an area that is never going to go away, right? You're married, you have kids. That's a big area. You need to batch that time. You need to figure out that time. Your work is something that you're going to need to batch. So those are things that I really, really want you to think about, and do not think about the little small things that come up here and there. That's the first thing. Second thing that I want you to think about as well, and make sure that you consider, is just because we're putting down that all of these are batches, it does not mean that you have to come up with time every single day to complete a batch, all of these batches at once, right? So like for instance, with community events. Community events is a big part of my life. It is something that we do consistently, but it is not something that I do every single day, right? And even when it comes down to my family batch, I talked about the doctor's appointments or the home admin things that we do. That is not every single day. If I'm looking at my budget every single morning, I'm looking at the budget for like 10 minutes. But a home admin batch where I am looking at my taxes, I'm reviewing our files, I'm looking at the life insurance, that might be 4 hours one day per quarter. Right? It's not going to be every single day. So just because you're putting these batches down does not mean that you have to do it every single day, and you're not batching every single task that you have. You're thinking about the really big categories that you have, and you really have to think about, all right, once I have these really big categories, then how often do I need to look at these particular things? Probably not every single day. And if you are looking at something every single day, it's probably going to be under your business one or your family one. And for me, it might be one or two things out of that particular batch, but it's not going to be all 9 batches that I have every single day, because then that would still be overwhelming and it would be defeating the purpose, right? So this is why you definitely want to think about. So the first thing you're thinking about is, what are you batching? What are my areas? What are my life categories? We talked about life categories. I have an entire video on life categories, and I can link that one as well. But even with my life categories, I have 12 life categories, but I only have 9 batches. And this is because these are the things that repeatedly come up. They repeatedly come up. They don't come up every now and then. They are constant in my life. So I really want you to think about that as well. All right. So step 2, after we have come up with our batches, we figured out the ones that we definitely have continuously coming up. The next thing that we want to do is decide or think about, when you normally have high energy versus low energy. At what point during your day do you have really high energy? At what point during your day do you have low energy? This matters because if you schedule high energy tasks, and we will talk about the difference between the two, but if you schedule high energy tasks during a time where you have low energy normally throughout your day, you're more than likely not going to complete it. you're not going to do it because you're not going to feel like doing it because you're going to be tired or you're just going to have lower energy. You're not going to have the mental capacity to actually complete the things that you want to be complete. So let's talk about what time do you normally have high energy versus low energy. So early morning versus morning. Now these are my high energy and low energy time frames. This may not be your high energy and low energy time frames, but these are definitely mine. All right. 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. I have high energy. This is my, I can go, right? This is a good time for me. However, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., right after I have lunch, I pretty much have low energy. I have a lower amount of energy during this time. Late afternoon, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., high energy. Hence, I come on at 4 p.m. because I have higher energy around this time. Late evenings, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., I have low energy. So my energy does this. It literally goes up and down throughout the course of my day. Mine goes, it's up, it goes down, then it goes up and it goes down. Now, it could change from time to time. Let's say I have a really, really big morning, or I just woke up and I wasn't in the best place. I'm really, really tired today, and I might need to switch around my task because of my energy. That can definitely happen. But I really just want you to think about what's the normal cadence. What's your normal cadence during this time? So you're going to write down all of the time frames of the day, and then you're going to write down, when do you have high energy? When do you have low energy? When do you have high energy? When do you have low energy? I want you to write that down. All right. The next thing that you're going to do after you have wrote down when your energy is high and when your energy is low is you're going to assign your energy. You're going to assign it to your batch. And let me show you what this kind of looks like. This is what it looks like for me. So I look at the batch, and let's say my business admin batch. This is where I have my emails and I have to do like bookkeeping stuff. I'm sitting at my desk. Normally, I don't need high energy for emails. I can kind of go through them without having high energy. It's a low energy task for me. So I'm saying, okay, emails is a low energy task. I normally have no low energy right after lunch around 12 o'clock. That's the time I'm going to check my emails from 12 to 1 p.m. Recording, if I need to record, I have to have high energy because I'm going to be on camera. I'm going to be doing a lot of talking. I need to make sure that I sound alive. If that's the case, then I'm going to do that in the mornings. I will either do it in the morning or I will do it around that 4 p.m. time frame where I feel like I still have high energy. So that's the time frame that I'm going to block it off. If I'm saying recording, usually I will do that in the morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's the time frame because I have high energy. Cleaning for me is a low energy. It's a low barrier. I'm just sweeping, I'm doing other things, but it doesn't require a lot of me. Now, I won't do deep cleaning. I'm talking about surface cleaning, like light cleaning, not really deep cleaning projects, because that may take a lot of energy, but just the simple things, the normal things, washing dishes, laundry, things like that I normally do on an everyday basis does not require a lot of energy. So I will usually do that when I have lower energies in the evening. Client meeting require high energy. So I'm going to do that around that 4 p.m. time frame where I have high energy. Community events, high energy. Normally those are during in the morning when I do have high energy, and like orders, different things like that is low energy. So I can do that in the evening when I have lower energy. Hopefully you can see the idea of how I can make this work just based on how I assign my time frame during the day. So if you have questions, make sure that you put them in the chat box. But these are the three things that I do. These are the three things that I do in order to batch my tasks. So the first thing that I do is I will take the different things, the batches that I have. I have a business set of batch, and I have an admin under my business. I have recording, social media under my business, and I have meetings. So those are my three main batches that I have. And then I will say, okay, in the morning, the 9 a.m. time frame, I'm going to be working on recording because that's my high energy time frame. Then 12 p.m. to like 2 p.m. is going to be emails and stuff like that. And then around 3 to 5 is going to be client meetings where I have high energy again. Now, as you can see, this is still the time block frame of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is my business time block, right? So I'm still time blocking the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. time frame. But the batch takes it a step further because the batch is saying, okay, even though I blocked off the time from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to complete my work, I'm going to break it down even further and batch the tasks that I am doing within that time frame. So 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is recording. 1 p.m. or 12, 12 to 1, I'm usually at lunch, but 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. is going to be working on emails and other things like that. And then 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. is going to be high energy meetings or coming on live or different things like that. So that's how I batch off the time. And 5 p.m. is still the ending time frame of when I am done with work. And then I switch over to my home batch and I will decide different things that I need to do. All right. So let's get into some of your questions. What happens if someone or something interrupts your batch time so you never finish it? What if you get bored during your batch time and want to do something else? So I've had both of these happen to me. First one, if someone interrupts my batch time, so let's say I am recording and I have high energy, I am doing well, I'm getting through it. If it's something that I have to take, let's say I get interrupted with a phone call. If I get interrupted with a phone call and it's not a phone call that I absolutely have to take, I answer. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And they say, oh, I needed to talk to you about this, this, and this. Sounds great. Can we schedule a time so that we can talk about this? I'm in the middle of, something, but I really, really want to talk to you. Let's schedule a time later on. Can I call you tomorrow at 9? If I can reschedule it right then and there, I will instantly reschedule it. I will just say, hey, can I just, I'm kind of in the middle of something, but can we talk tomorrow at 9 a.m. or can we talk tomorrow at 3 p.m. and put it in the batch time of my meetings where I normally would do that particular task. Now, if I can't reschedule, let's say it's something with my baby, right? So the school calls me and I have to drop everything that I need in order to go pick up one of my kids. If that happens, I immediately stop, I drop, I go and do what I need to do, and then I reschedule the thing that I was currently working on. And I put it in tomorrow's time batch or the next time that I was going to batch that particular task. I will just reschedule that thing. But I really try and say, okay, give yourself as much time to kind of be flexible too. Like I don't batch or don't time block every single minute of my day. I try and leave some white space because you want to leave white space during your day. So for me, 12 to 1 is like lunchtime. I also have a blank space of time between 3 and 4 to where I don't block off every single minute, and it kind of gives me a little bit of more flexibility to where if I need to add on and do something during that time, I can. However, if I'm tired after that interruption happens and it brings my high energy to low energy, I will just reschedule it. I will just move and just reschedule it. All right. Next thing, what if you get bored? Oh, you don't want to do it. And I have definitely had this happen where I have just gotten tired or I just wasn't in the mood, right? I have been recording and just been like, this isn't working today. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I don't know why I'm not feeling it. And I will give myself room and a break to say, yeah, not right now. I need to take a break. I need to do this later. I need to reschedule it. I have no problem. Y'all know I use a black pen in my planner and I use a red pen in my planner. The black pen is always the plans. I always write down what I think I'm going to be able to do in my black pen, but I reschedule in red. I change it up all the time. I will instantly flow with my day, and I don't get upset or mad at myself if I don't complete a particular task. I try my best to give myself at least 3 opportunities. Now, I know if I keep pushing back a task, by the third time I push it back, then I've already said, okay, you're procrastinating now. Like, I know that just about myself, that I can procrastinate. But if you are not feeling it in that particular day, reschedule it, push it back. Like, give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. And one thing that I will always do is not stress myself out over completing a particular task. I try and give myself some extra time, which is also another reason why I try and be a week ahead of myself with filming and schedule. Like I always say, if you're going to do a YouTube channel, try and film like 10 videos before you even start the channel. Like, film, edit, have them uploaded in private so that you are giving yourself some time, some space to still upload and be consistent, but you don't have the pressure of it having to be done by tomorrow for tomorrow's upload. Now, I have been there too, where I don't have enough videos ahead, but I do try my best to be at least a week ahead of myself. So I'm not filming today for today, right? I'm filming today for next week's videos. And then that way I'm giving myself some space to not have to do every single thing for my business today. All right. So white space as much as possible, plan ahead as much as possible, try and think about what needs to be done for your business or for your work a little bit ahead of schedule so that it doesn't have to be done tomorrow. If something happens, you're interrupted, then you don't have to worry about it having to be done immediately. All right. So with batch time, is it best to discuss availability or build in preferred meeting time? So I love when it comes down to work related items, I love to suggest the time frame that I normally do. It does depend. It does depend on the person that I'm meeting. So if I'm meeting with brands, for instance, if I'm meeting with a brand, I will usually adjust my time because I know I'm dealing with a bigger brand that probably can't work around my batch time, right? So, it depends on who it is. When I was working with Teachable, I was just kind of going and see what time they said. And if they asked me, then I tried to put in the time frame that I would normally do, which I'm like, okay, I normally would meet on a Tuesday or Thursday at 12 p.m. or something like that. But I like to suggest if I can, but it depends. It really depends. Now, if it's someone that's interviewing me, or if it's a client, or it's someone we're collabing, and it's kind of like, oh, whatever, it's on you, like it's on me. They don't really have a specific time frame. Then I will definitely suggest the time frame that I normally schedule for meetings. I really do try my best to put it in that time frame. All right. What app are you using for the live? I am using StreamYard. StreamYard for this live. It's how I can share your comments and share the chat. It is a great, great, great resource. It does cost. I cannot remember exactly how much it costs on a monthly basis, but I'm sure it's on their website. But I do love it. I have it connected to my YouTube, and that's how I'm able to stream and still talk to you guys. And I can see, if you see me looking down, it's because like the camera's up here, but I have to look down here to read on my computer your comments and stuff. But it's a great, great app. I love it. Do you take in clients who need guidance on starting a YouTube channel? So this is not something that I have done in the past, but this is not the first time I have gotten that question. I have gotten that a couple of times, and it has made me really, really seriously consider doing more of social media guidance and talking about it. I've been on YouTube for about 4 years now, and I finally feel like I've gotten comfortable with what works, what doesn't work. At first, I was kind of just figuring it out myself with the algorithm and what works and how to be consistent and how to put yourself out there. But it is something that I'm seriously considering. I actually said I was going to do a poll to see if it's something that a bunch of people wanted, like organization, as far as figuring out social media and how to start a channel and what to do once you get it started, how to get ahead, all of those different things that I do. So I probably will do a poll, and if a bunch of people want this type of guidance content and want me to add it to my coaching, sure. I love talking about YouTube. It's one of my favorite platforms, along with Instagram. Currently, I have my horses, and most of the things I do are clumped up in with my routine. This doesn't include all of the have to do, but feedings and cleanings are broken down 4 times during the day. Yep. I feel like if you have one particular bigger thing that you do on a consistent basis, like she's saying, her horses, or you have things that you do with the house, or you have your gardening, right? Or it could be your planning. At one point in time, when I had a little bit more time on my hands, I was just obsessed with planning, and I would schedule time to just be in my planner all day and just play around with it and just have. I can't wait till I get back to that point, because I just switched up my planner to be like super, super functional, and I truly miss playing in my planner. I really, really do. I love being decorative when I want to be decorative, and not being able to do that because of the time constraint is really sad for me. But I'm hoping I can get back to that so very, very soon. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? But if I can say this, if you are starting off with time blocking or batching your time or anything like that, take your time with it. Take your time with it. Don't rush yourself. Give yourself some grace. Batching, time blocking, getting on the same page with your planner, using your planner consistently. All of this does take more time. It takes a lot of time. I feel like many times we want to jump in and just instantly know how to set our planner up. We want to know how to time batch. We want to know how to time block. We want to create the perfect to-do list that we're going to complete every single day and check off everything, and we're just going to be productivity gurus, right? And just be able to get everything done. But it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. I've been doing this consistently for 4 years, and I still have days where I just don't get as much done as I want to get done. But just know that it's not about getting every single thing done. It's really about getting the important things done, the things that truly, truly matter to you. That's the things that you want to get done, and not just every single thing that you have on your list just for the sake that you can check it off, right? That's not the reason. What are the post-it notes on the calendar? So I don't know if y'all can see that, but I do have a bunch of post-it notes on the notes on the board behind me. And this is all of my goals. So every single color, and I feel like you can't really see. There you go. You kind of see it, but it's a little bit low because of my camera. But every single color on here represents a particular category. I want to say all the pink ones are faith related. All the yellow ones are personal related, but they're goals. So they are goals, more of like habits that I want to complete on a consistent basis. Because the goal is the big arching thing that you want to complete, right? So the goal would be to lose 10 pounds, right? That's the goal. But the habit is to run every single day throughout the year run at least 2 miles a day, right? So that's the habit. So they are habits that I want to complete for the year. So every single year, I have been doing this. Oh, if you go back to my videos, like my older videos, you can see them on the board behind me. Probably for the last 3 years, I have switched out these post-it notes and put on there new ones that I want to complete. So when I wanted to reach 100K on YouTube, it was on this board. When I wanted to reach a certain income number, it was on this board. Get rid of debt, it was on this board. I just would, all of my life categories that I have, I have money, I have 12 life categories. I will pick different habits and different goals that I want to complete. And then I will add them to the post-it notes on this board. And then anytime I complete them, I basically take it off. I check it off. I will add it into my goals notebook, my goals and project journal notebook, which I don't think I've shared that one with you this year yet. So I really need to do that. I need to add that to my filming list. But I will just write down that it was actually completed. And then that way I have this like book of all of the things that I have completed. But I love to keep this in front of me because every time I come in my office, I can glance over there and see all of the things that I want to do. So that is why I have that there. And I love it. Let's see. Do you work with an assistant? So I have it's not really an assistant. I have an editor. Currently I have a video editor that helped me with different things, and then I have someone that will come in and help me with orders. I am looking at hiring an assistant soon. I don't know if you guys know, but I did just move into an office. So me and my husband moved into an office about a month or 2 months ago. And so one of the reasons why I moved into the office was so that I could hire someone to help me. So because we have the church now, we ended up hiring an assistant for the church first. So that was the first move, but I am looking to hire an assistant hopefully very soon, within the next couple of months, that can come in and really do help me a lot with all of the things that I have to do and take off some of the things off my list. I will be in a doctoral. Oh, congrats, Sonia. How awesome. How will I batch schoolwork? So here's the thing with your batches. And I really want you to think about this when you're batching across the board. There are times where your batches will be uneven, right? There are times where I am in a deep season of work. December for me was like, okay, this is Vlogmas. This is the busiest season. This is the busiest month of the year for YouTube. I am completely just solely trying to get this done for work. And when I have that, that means that batch is taking over for the month of December. So when I batch the other stuff that I needed to do, like family and marriage, like I was saying, okay, me and my husband talked about it. We're about to start December, and December is crazy for me. So I need to be super focused in on December. So he basically really, really helped out with the kids and did a whole bunch of other stuff so that my mom helped. We kind of had help across the board with different family members that just really kind of pitched in with like doing different things with the kids. And my mom, they would spend the night over there certain days so that I could focus on this particular batch or this thing that I needed to do during this season. During January, though, it was the opposite. Like we were opening the church at the very end of January. So all of our energy was focused there. And then this past, like right after we launched the church, me and my husband took a weekend where we're saying, okay, we're going to take a weekend off. If you know, I didn't do live last Monday. It was my daughter's birthday because December was dedicated to the Organized Money. The month of January was completely dedicated to the church and the church launch. Right after that, at the beginning of February, we took a few days off just for family. So I'm saying that to say you may not be able to batch them all on the same day, right? You might say, okay, I have this doctoral program. I need to be completely focused on this particular thing for this month, or I have this project coming up for the next 3 weeks. I am solely going to be doing this. However, let me switch this out and see if I can ease up after I submit this project. Then maybe I can take a vacation. Maybe I could take some time off. Maybe I can do a big date night or a staycation. It doesn't mean that you have to leave, but I want you to think in terms of, all right, if something is, it's going to take up a lot of your time, then when can you schedule the other things? It may not be in the same day, it may not be during the same time, but as long as you can kind of create this flow where nothing is going too long, where you're not paying attention to it. All of your batches get some amount of time at some point in time, and you get to schedule that out. So the month of December, I didn't work out at all, right? I didn't do any workouts. But the month of January, I was like, okay, I knew I wasn't going to really be working out. I know I was going to be eating for Christmas, but I know that in January, I'm going to be starting back up. I already have my goals set of what I'm going to be doing, and I already know the activities that I'm going to be doing for this month. So it's not that all things have to be done at the exact same time. Of course, there will be certain times where certain batches will be higher up, but as long as you have this idea of when different things is going to happen, this is why planning is so crucial. It's so crucial when it comes down to batching and even figuring out your time blocks. Because if not, you will just work, right? You might just work on your doctoral program and kind of forget about everything else. But if you say, okay, no, I am working on this right at this very moment, I'm going to be dedicated for the next 3 weeks. But after this, let me plan a date night with my husband. Let me plan to take the kids out for a certain event, right? And that's what we did. You say, okay, we're going to be working on the church launch. But right after this, for my daughter's 10th birthday, I didn't come on live. I just spent the day with her. And we just had a big family day where I didn't do any work. And I just kind of dedicated that time to her. So it's really figuring out what are those batches, and then when. Like, when is it a prime time to make sure that I am completing all of these different batches so that I am not being one-sided or another. I still have this flow where I'm dedicated. But like I said, you don't have to do them all at the same time. So I know you're saying, okay, how am I going to batch work, school, family, marriage all at the same time? But it may be one might be getting more attention than another at a certain period of time. But as long as you're all on the same page, like I said, me and my husband will talk. He'll say, hey, look, I got a lot of preaching engagements that's coming up through the month of February. And then I say, okay. So I know that during that month, I need to make sure that I am super available for my kids. I need to kind of scale back on different things that I had planned because he had something that he has planned, and vice versa. So we will do, that's how we do it. And I think that as long as you're being super, super like y'all communication is on another level, you're still doing meetings, you're still talking a lot about it, it makes it much, much easier. Yes. So I would love to have an assistant to help with the live videos, especially to put up the different questions and stuff. My husband used to do it a lot, if y'all remember back in the day. But now that he is, or we are also full-time pastors, he's unable to jump on as much. But yeah, hopefully in the next few months, we will have someone. That's the goal. That's the goal. How do you track your habits daily to check progress? So I have a habit tracker, and I have shared this one on my Instagram, and I've also shared it on YouTube. But I do have a habit tracker that I will kind of check off for all of my habits, and I write them all down for the week, and then I check them off as I go. Let's see if I can reach my planner. I can show it to you. Let's see. I can show you what it looks like, but ooh, the light. Hold on one second. Yeah, there you go. So this is what my habit tracker looks like. As you can see, I have all of the habits that I have on the side here, and then I have the check marks and the X's, and this is how I'm keeping track of the different habits that I'm doing throughout the course of the week, and this is how I stay on top of everything to make sure that I'm doing everything. So this is a download that I have that's available in my Etsy shop if you're interested, but even if you wanted to create something like this on your own, or you just wanted to keep this on the sidebar of your actual planner, you could do that. I love having this because it does help me to stay on top, and it helps me to know what I'm doing and not doing. Because I did a bunch of X's last week on my workout. I think I did only like 3 workout days. So, it highlights the different things that I'm not working on. And then I am able to say, okay, I really need to make sure that I do this week because I didn't do a good job of it last week. All right. How do you deal with folks that jump from task to task? So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about deep work. 2 things that I like to do if you have an issue with jumping from task to task. Usually what happens with jumping from task to task, it's because your mind is jumping. Your mind is doing a lot of jumping. The first thing that I will do is write down the task that I am currently working on, put it on a Post-it note, and stick it on my computer. So let's say I'm answering emails. I will write emails and then I stick it on my computer. And then I'm answering my emails, and then I see an email that actually pulls me somewhere else. That Post-it note, I'll say, wait, no, I'm getting sidetracked because I'm looking at that Post-it note, knowing that I'm supposed to be working on this particular task for a certain amount of time. And I will pull out my brainstorming notebook and write down the new task that I wanted to work out or wanted to do. And I have showed you guys my brainstorming notebook. It's that black notebook that I will use that I just write down random stuff in. But that's usually where it's like my inbox. It's like where I'm dumping all of the random things that are happening throughout the course of my day. And as I am writing in that brain dumping notebook, then I'm able to keep track of the new things that I want to do and stay focused on the one that I'm currently working on. So if you find that you're jumping from task to task, it's normally because you're not dumping. You're not clearing your brain of all of the other things that you want to do. So make sure that you keep some type of notebook, some type of way to keep track of the new things that you want to do. Because if you don't, then your brain will feel like it will keep reminding you. If you keep thinking of the same task over and over, it's because your brain doesn't believe in the system that you have created for reminding yourself later. And so with me, once I am able to write it on my brain dumping notebook, or I'm able to write it in my planner, I can relax because I know I'm going to get to it at a specific time. It's even better if you're able to write down the time that you're actually going to work on that thing. So if you can pull out your planner and say, oh, I know I said I'm working on this. I was sidetracked by this, but I'm going to clean at 5 p.m. today and not worry about it right this very second so that I can finish clearing out my emails. So if you're jumping from task to task, you need to figure out what's your system. What's that? Mine is adding it to my Post-it note. Hey, this is what you're working, or put it in that time block. This time block is for clearing emails. Anytime I'm not clearing emails, what are you trying to do? And if you're trying to do something else, how do you add that somewhere else so that you're not getting sidetracked? Because it's that pulling you away tendency that we really, really need to work on. And it takes some time to get used to. I know distractions are difficult to get to like really try and manage, especially if you're not used to managing them. Like Instagram used to sidetrack me all the time because I would open it just to post something. And then now I'm just watching and I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So one thing that I have really, really tried my best to do is whenever I am, if I post something, I post, I'll either schedule it or I post it immediately and jump completely off the app. I'll put my phone on do not disturb, and then I don't go back until I have that scheduled time. And I do have scheduled time where I can play on Instagram and like look at different things. So I'll save stuff. If I see something, I'm like, oh, I wanted to read that. Oh, I wanted to see that. I'll save it. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go back. I can't do that right now because right now I'm supposed to be doing this. And it does take some time to get used to. It does take some time to get used to. I see all the congrats to Sonia. Yes, girl, doctorate program. I am so happy for you. That's wonderful. Okay. Would you consider doing more day in the life where we can see you and your planner in action? Yes, I do need to do this. I do. You know what actually stops me? It's like the day in the life takes up time. It really does, because you have to set up the camera, and and then you have to actually like make sure like you're recording and you're pressing record. And so it's like something that I haven't planned. And so since I don't plan it, sometimes it's hard to actually do them because it's taking up a lot of the time that I had scheduled for other things. But I am going to try my best to do them more often so that I can really share with you how my days flow. I can say this: the morning time is the hardest for me because I have the kids. And whenever I have my kids, and I'm getting like I run kind of like we do the same thing every morning, and it's really kind of scheduled, and I just want to make sure that they're like good for school. But I do try my best to at least start it by the time that they leave. By what I want to say, like 8, 9 o'clock, I usually do try my best to start it. But I am going to try my best to do more of them, so that I can share with you. Which I think I did one a couple of weeks ago, where it was a day in the life of my planner. They're just they're challenging for me to do. They are challenging for me to do, but I am going to. Thank you. My office does. The office has such a beautiful view. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I don't go there every single day, but I do go on the opposite days from filming. When I'm doing a lot of those admin tasks, I usually will do them there. And when I'm doing meetings, I usually will do them there. That's kind of like, so the time blocks that I have for meetings and like admin stuff, it's all done there. Filming is still pretty much done here because all of my equipment, lighting, and all of that stuff is here. Yes, the habit tracker works really good for me. Yes, you should utilize it for everything. I love using a habit tracker. I definitely feel like it's one of the best things that I've added to my system, that makes me realize what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, where I'm succeeding and where I need to work, what I need to work on. It definitely helps me a lot. Um, I have so much to do and I feel overwhelmed. How do you suggest going about tackling this? I have been cleaning my apartment and organizing it, but I'm not done yet. I see no end to this. So, if you are feeling overwhelmed, the first thing that I would suggest that you do is really kind of tap into what that overwhelm is. Is it with the particular task on their own? Like, is it because of, it's taking you too long to do this? Do you feel like it's taking you too long? Do you feel like, okay, I'm really trying? Because I know a lot of times with me, if I feel overwhelmed by a task, it's because I just feel like there's just so many steps, right? And when I feel like there's so many steps, it's because I haven't broken it down to the smallest denominator. So instead of trying to, like, let's say you said you're cleaning your whole apartment, right? Let's start with a drawer, like, right? Let's start with the kitchen. Let's just break it down. And I will share, I really need to do a video on this, but I will share my projects and my goals and projects journal that I created for this, because I really feel like it's easier to do this in like some type of journal than it is in your planner, because you can break down the steps even further, like to the smallest denominator, and it makes it much, much easier when you're trying to organize something. When we get overwhelmed, it's because usually we're thinking about the big overall goal. We're thinking about this huge goal that it feels like it's just so monumental that it just feels like, oh my God, I'm never going to complete this, right? And you even say, I see no end to this. And it's because it's such a big goal that usually it just overwhelms us because we don't see the end in sight. But when we're able to break it down to the smallest denominator, when we say, okay, today all I'm doing is cleaning out this drawer, or this month is dedicated to the kitchen, and then it starts to become a little bit more palatable because you're taking it in smaller chunks instead of trying to think about your entire apartment. Think about just the room. Like I said, in the month of January, I just decluttered my closet. That was it. I was like, okay, it's just the closet. I'm not worried about any other area of the house, and I will deem it successful when I clear this closet. And when I finish this closet, I'm going to get a pedicure, right? I set that goal. If you didn't see, we did a class on that, on setting the goals, on how to make sure you're actually going to accomplish those goals. It should be on my channel, but look up the goals video that we did. Our class is habits and goals video that we did. It's on my YouTube channel. It will help you when you're trying to figure out how to tackle on those big overall projects that you want to do. All right. Thank you. Please, everyone, thumbs up this video. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. It really, really does. And it does help me with my channel. So thank you. Instagram is a rabbit hole, and it will get you every time if you don't make sure that you're staying on top of this. That would be perfect. Yeah, I would love to be able to have, and even if I have, because with an assistant, I think that I would be able to connect with you guys way, way more. Because sometimes you're sending me emails. I know I get text messages, I'm YouTube comments, Instagram DMs. There's so many like different ways to contact. And sometimes I try and stay on top of all of them. But with that, the church, filming and all of the batches that we just talked about, it is challenging to stay on top of them all and make sure that I'm contacting you. So that's one of the things that I really personally love to do. So I want to hire an assistant to do all of the other stuff so that I can just still chat and talk to you and do all the fun stuff that I like to do. So I'll be answering comments and emails and talking to people. And then hopefully my assistant can be doing some of the filming and editing stuff and all the other stuff that I don't find as fun. So yeah. I do not schedule any responses on YouTube or Instagram. I answer all of my emails. I answer all of the text messages for the people who are in my membership that have my phone number that we text. I do that. I also answer all my YouTube comments, and I answer all my Instagram DMs. They are me personally. It's just something that I love. I have been told that I probably should hire that out, but I really just love to do it. So I have not. So I think that I'm going to end up hiring for all of the other stuff so that I can continue to do that stuff because I really, really do love it. Because I love talking to you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right, so I think that we are good for today. Thank you all so much for joining me. Tomorrow's YouTube video will be on financial stuff. We're going to be talking about money tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about 5 financial steps to freedom. So my 5 steps to financial freedom. And then on Friday, let me see, we're going to be talking about 7 questions to ask yourself to be more productive. 7 questions to ask yourself to be more productive. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about money. Friday, we're going to be talking about more productivity stuff. But I am going to be adding back more money. We're going to be talking more budgeting, more about cash envelopes, more about because I'm setting up and revamping a lot of my cash envelopes and the different things that I have been doing with my budget. So we're going to be talking about that, impulse shopping, your history with money, how to stay on track with money, all of that coming up very, very soon. So I'm really excited because I feel like we've been on planning and productivity for quite some time. So we're going to be getting back into Money Mondays very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to those next couple of classes. So we won't have class on the 14th. I felt like y'all would be gone for Valentine's Day. That's what I just felt like. So we won't have class on the 14th, but on the 21st is when we're going to start our money classes. We're going to be talking about cash envelopes on the 21st, and then 5 steps to financial freedom on the 28th, right? So this will be our last week of productivity, and then we're going to jump into money stuff. So I will see you guys in next week's class. Nope, not next week, because next week is the 14th of February. So I'll see you on the 21st. But I will still be posting videos to YouTube. So y'all make sure y'all check my channel on Friday when we are doing more YouTube videos. All right. So until then, see you all later. Keep organizing. And if you have any other questions that I didn't answer, make sure that you email me, Alaina at theorganizedmoney.com. See you guys later. Bye.